AITA for telling off my friends for missing their engagement photo shoot over their roommate. Hi Reddit. So I do photography as a side hobby for extra cash. Portrait shots, engagement sessions, weddings, etc. It's fun and I like what I do. Two of my good friends got engaged last year and were wanting to do an engagement session, and I suggested when it snows we should take advantage of that. They loved the idea and I even went shopping with the soon-to-be bride to pick out an outfit to go well with the snowy background. We finally find out it was going to snow last night and this morning several days ago. Bride is my neighbor, groom is not. Groom lives 15 minutes on really bad back roads that ice over and are definitely not safe to drive in after snow. So I suggested he spend the night before. I don't want anyone getting hurt over photos. Groom and bride have slept together plenty of times, in both meanings of the word sleeping, so this isn't a problem of morality. Groom's roommate is obsessed with their sex lives and purity. One time he tore their living room apart in anger all because the groom spent the night at bride's apartment. Groom has to sneak bride in after his roommate goes to bed and like out at 5 AM before he wakes up to prevent angering him. His roommate has all kinds of issues concerning his faith, and he pushes his issues onto the groom and will make life hell if groom doesn't follow roommate's morality code. I'm a Christian myself but this guy is a lunatic. Over the past 6 months our other friends and my boyfriend have suggested moving out or even crashing with them because everyone thinks groom's roommate is crazy and creepily controlling, but groom feels obligated to stay since roommate has no other real friends. Anyway, so groom was going to spend the night with bride. That was already discussed so that we can walk to each other in the snow and no one has to drive. I had everything set up and ready to go. I get a text this morning saying groom did not spend the night because he feared angering his roommate and so we can't do the engagement photos because as I predicted, the roads are iced over. I'm mad and basically told them off that they need to stop letting roommate control their lives and that it's unhealthy as hell. And it isn't fair to me to go through lengths to plan a photo shoot and prepare equipment all to cancel 2 hours before by saying groom didn't spend the night as planned. Told them they better suggest something else because there's no way we'll ever do a snow shoot for them if they keep living in fear of roommate. They're upset and think I'm harsh. I think they need to get out of this toxic roommate situation and should have told me in advance that groom was never planning to stay the night because I knew if he didn't, I'd have known not to prepare since I know how bad the roads get. NTA and I would not do the shoot for them anymore. Did you set a price or was it for free? Such a late cancellation means they still need to pay up a portion of the price, because you have spent time preparing and could not get another booking. I was going to do it for free as a gift to them. No charge. Groom's roommate is obsessed with their sex lives and purity. Info: is he an involuntary celibate? He tore their living room apart in anger all because the groom spent the night at bride's apartment. Info: is he jealous of one of them? Has all kinds of issues concerning his faith, and he pushes his issues onto the groom and will make life hell if groom doesn't follow roommate's morality code. Info: is that a bro code? Is he 8, or born in the 1200s? Roommate has no other real friends. Info: is he surprised? Sorry, I had to add the quotes because that guy is batshit cray cray. Yes, your friends do suck and need to get out of coddling this madman. NTA. Roommate behavior sounds more like that of a jealous lover than a roommate. Perhaps the Puritan shtick is a masquerade. NTA. My boyfriend and I agree lol. It's very irrational behavior that could be explained by roommate having romantic feelings for groom. AITA for making my mom feel like a bad mom and telling her off for leaving. I, F18, have 2 little sisters, 15,16. My mom had an affair when I was 14 which caused my parents' divorce and she later remarried her husband. He has a hell of a lot of kids, 7, 8, 10, 12, and 13. My mom never even gave us a chance to get to know them or anything. We were forced to move into a bigger house and call them family. I still live with my mom. Due to my dad in and out of the hospital, I was never able to live with him. Now, We can't even visit him because he's high risk and could easily catch COVID, so we are still figuring out how we can see him without risking his health. My mom pulled a stunt last Monday. She left with her husband for a week to have them time. She didn't say shit to me nor any of the other kids until I called her asking where she was. She didn't even leave any money for us to shop for food. Yes, she left during a fucking pandemic. She returned literally an hour ago, 12 AM. And I blew up at her because I missed work all week and might get fired. I missed practice and risked getting kicked off the team. And the 3 oldest kids, not my bio sisters, were so horrible behaved the entire week. I told her they're not my responsibility for one, and she knows I'm not comfortable babysitting anyone's kids except my sisters. I told her the next time she and her husband wanted them time to lock themselves in their room rather than leaving and being inconsiderate. She started crying and said I'm making her feel like a bad mom when she didn't do anything wrong. My aunt called me and said I'm grown and need to get over my little girl feelings and apologize to my mom because I was mean for no reason. I said I had a reason to be mean and I wasn't apologizing. I'm only now writing this because I feel like maybe I was over the top and asshole-ish, so AITA. I didn't think this called for CPS and I'm hoping she doesn't do it again so I don't have to call them. Plus I think they tell who makes a report and I don't want to go through that. I'm saving to move out but I'm back some money because I had to come out of pocket to order food the first few days then buy groceries. I also don't want to leave my sisters until at least my baby sister is 17. My cousin, aunt's daughter, has joined in and called me a child, she's 20, and a bad daughter for making my mom feel bad about having fun. My step-sibling's bio mom is an addict. I don't know any of her info anyways to get in contact with her. Thank you guys for the feedback and the rewards. I appreciate it. And LT3 Edit 2. So I told my mom the funds I spent the week she was gone and she's going to pay me back for that. My boss texted me not to come into work and I think that translates to I'm fired. So someone asked why I missed work when my sisters could have watched them. Well, the 7,8 and 10-year-old have online school and needs help with the class setup and doing work, and my sisters had to go to their classes too. I seen someone suggest I get custody of my sisters and live with my dad after isolation. I like that idea. I'll have to talk to him about that. I will think about the CPS issue. The whole thing is just terrifying. Thank you again. I didn't not expect this to blow up. Thanks for the feedback and I'm trying to reply to my messages. It's just an overwhelming amount. NTA. Your mother was incredibly irresponsible. You have no obligation to tend to your younger siblings or the stepkids. Those children are her and her husband's responsibility. By leaving them like that, she was certainly behaving like a bad mom. Honestly, you would have been within your rights to call social services and report abandoned children. Because that is what she did. She just walked away from a bunch of minor children without making any sort of arrangements for their care. She didn't even leave food for them. That is a failure of her most basic duty as a mother. You are your own person. You're not an extension of her. You don't have to fill in for her whenever she feels like abdicating mother duties. Honestly, you would have been within your rights to call social services and report abandoned children. Absolutely. If she does it again, call CPS. At the very least she needs to tell the person babysitting that they're babysitting, and make sure the kids have food. Cripes. This is the most horrifying and irresponsible thing I've ever read, and I'm so mad on behalf of the op. You are NTA in any way. Is your mother insane? NTA, you're still in school and being made to babysit 7 children, and she has the audacity to say you were mean for being upset at her. Being in trouble with work isn't a little girl problem either. WTF. NTA. This was literally child abandonment. You may be 18, but you can't take care of 7 minors on your own. If she pulls a stunt like this again, you should call CPS. NTA. As a rule of thumb, if they could have both been arrested and given jail time for what they did, they probably shouldn't have done it. But nah, it's a much better idea to make you think that you're insane, and of course they did nothing wrong. The fact that you even have to ask is crazy. This is abuse. You need to escape that house ASAP. AITA for not going along with being adopted to make everyone happy. I hate to post here because I know there are so many of these, but I really need to hear what you all think. I, 16F, lost my mom when I was 7. My sister was 2 at the time and my brother was a few months old. Our dad met my stepmom about a year later, started dating her 6 months after they met. It was a thing for single parents. She had 2 kids who were close in age to my siblings. After they got married, things were fine at first, and then they wanted to adopt each other's kids. Her kids were excited, as were my siblings, but I did not want to be adopted. This wasn't made into a huge deal, but they really quizzed me on why and tried to figure out if they could change my mind. They weren't able to, and I know this really hurt her feelings. Over the years it was let go. They adopted the other kids and everyone was happy. Or so I thought. It seems like it made them unhappy. I said no to the adoption, and my siblings have wondered why I didn't want to be adopted too. I love my stepmom. I get along with her really well. Think she's great. But I don't love her the same as I love my mom or dad. It's different with her. Not bad, just not as close. And that for me was reason enough to not be adopted. But there's also the fact I don't want my mom's name erased from everything. I know they're not trying to replace her, but if I'm adopted, her name is no longer the legal name I put down. It doesn't change biology, but it does make my stepmom my mom, and no matter how much I care about her, I just don't want her to be my mom in all official senses of the word. It has come up again because they offered the adoption again, and my answer was the same. My dad decided we needed to go to therapy, the 3 of us, and the therapist told them they couldn't therapy me into agreeing. My stepmom said it's not about that for her, she just wants to know what she did wrong, and why I'm opposed. My dad said he feels like I'm holding back, and he said there is an unhappiness with the fact I have kept myself on the outside by not becoming a more official part of the family unit. It bothers me, but part of me feels bad that this is something that makes them so unhappy. NTA. Tell your stepmom she's not doing anything wrong except putting pressure on you to be adopted. You just don't want to erase your mother from your legal history and family. And ask your dad why you need to replace and erase your biological mother, whom he too presumably loved once, to be fully part of the family. Step-parents and step-siblings are family too. The therapist told them they couldn't therapy me into agreeing. That therapist is awesome. NTA. This whole thing seems to be going in the right direction. Dad and stepmom are upset, and they are seeking help. The therapist sounds like someone that might make them realize that they need to make peace with the situation. NTA. I'm glad the therapist is on your side, and I hope you'll use that as encouragement to push back against the assumptions they're making. It's not wrong for you to not want to officially be your stepmom's kid, let alone a judgment on her as a person. It's not wrong for your family unit to be a little unconventional. They can either accept that and meet you where you are, or they can continue to push and work against the very happiness and harmony they seem to think the adoption will just magically generate. NTA. No one can dictate what your feelings are. Good for the therapist for saying that. Can see where the stepmom is coming from with her "what have I done wrong" thing, but she doesn't have to have done anything wrong. You can't really help how you feel.